So let's talk about it. Um, Not sure if you're going to watch this on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, but whatever platform you watch it on, I will make this the conclusion of the I dated an Instagram model. So this was part three, and this is going to be it. The main thing that I'm really doing this for, even if it only helps one man, I just want I really want men to think about the way dating is nowadays. Now, back when I was younger in high school, college, it was so much easier because you had women that were raised by whether it was their mother, their grandmother, auntie, but they had that woman in their life that taught them the value of being a woman, which was not allowing yourself to date all kind of men, not allowing yourself to be out there in the streets considered being fast or loose. But nowadays it's almost like they want that narrative to be the norm. They want Nowadays women want to be men. And I'm not saying that they want to be men to date other women. They want to be men to be equal to a man or even greater than a man. And I have no problem with a woman, any woman that I date. We are considered equal in our relationship. I'm not going to act like I own you, that I am your master. No, the way I look at you, you're the queen and I'm the king. We're on equal levels. But what I will say about it is at dating dating the Instagram model, I realized that one thing you have to understand is that you share her with everybody. And what I mean by that is I would constantly ask her, what's going on with you doing this content with other artists, and she's like, "Oh, it's nothing. It's just they paid me to appear with them." And I mean, what the content she created, it was it wasn't X-rated or anything. It was actually viewable on YouTube. It might have been her doing a workout with this person, or it might have been her hanging out and them going to get food. But when you think about it from that perspective, one thing I had to realize is that women will do one thing but will crucify you if you do the same thing. So think about it. If I was dating a woman and I was so-called a social media star, and part of the social media content I was making, imagine if I was like Usher or Chris Brown, where women would pay me to take pictures with them or even make an appearance with them. Trust me, the woman that I would be dating, I would say 90% of the women that you would date would not be cool with that. Because they would be like, I know you probably doing something else after the cameras are gone or off. And that's the same thought I had, because I'm thinking this guy has paid you $500 to $1,000 just for you to do this content video with him. But what else are you doing after the cameras go off? Because he done already paid you $500 to $1,000. And let's just be honest. Who else do you know takes money like that for an appearance? I don't even need to say it, but that's what I'm saying. That's one thing that when you have entered into dating someone that basically displays themselves on the internet and they're not hiding anything, you have to understand you can't expect her to be faithful to you, because she's sharing herself with everybody else and you. And that's one thing that I really had to take away from that experience, because there was one instance where for months I had been asking her, hey, we should hang out, we should spend some time together. But no, it was always, I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy. So the one day that she finally felt like throwing me a bone and giving me some time, I was working. And she was so offended that I was like, no, I'm busy, I'm working. But I had been turned down 1,000 times, and this was the one time I told her I was too busy. And the funny thing is, and I've always learned this, that God will show you what you need to see when you need to see it. So I would say 30 minutes after I told her I couldn't do it, I couldn't hang out, because supposedly she had cut some time out for me and we could hang out, we could actually have lunch together. After I had been begging to have this opportunity for months, now she finally felt like throwing me a bone. So I recall I was at work, and then I happened to, because I followed her page. I like supported her, followed her page. I knew what she was doing. And it was so funny. I got an alert that said, such and such is going live. And I'm like, she going live? I thought she just told me, since we couldn't do our date, she was just going to chill out. And sure enough, she goes live and does a whole cooking section online for her fans. And I'm thinking to myself, so instead of you maybe waiting till my lunch break and maybe we could have met up for lunch, you went right back to who you really loved in the first place. Like, people can always say they love you. People can always say that they want to be with you. But who they make time for, that tells you the truth. And that was the last straw. Like, when I saw that and I'm like, oh, wow. So just because I was busy today, you decided to go and do a live stream of you cooking for your fans and having a barbecue at your house. I was like, wow, okay. And I told her, like, you know what, I'm done. I said, the blatant disrespect, the consistent, I'm so busy all the time, but you're not too busy to make content. You're not too busy to make time for people that pay you to appear. But the person that you so-called care about so much, you don't even show up for me unless I send you gas money first. Like, what kind of relationship is that? So I say that to say, in this new season of dating and the way it has been for me in 2024 and how 2025 could be, you just have to understand that these women have been raised on social media. They have been raised by female rappers that don't care about anything but getting money. They didn't have the same kind of role models or people to look up to that we had when I was younger. Because, I come from an era where you had Boyz II Men and you had Joe and you had Musiq Soulchild and you had all these artists that made music about treating a woman like a queen. And then you had women like Faith and like Mary J. Blige and like Anita Baker, women that made music about treating their men with respect, treating him like a king, but not the king in the sense that he's going to rule over you. It's just the fact that you guys are ruling over a kingdom together. So I say all that to say, my experience in dating an Instagram model, I'm actually thankful that I got to experience it. So now I can see how women try to make men, they basically want men to be simps. And I have to admit, I was one for a while. I was one for a good time frame. But sometimes you need to experience something like that so that you can help others. And then you can see that same kind of behavior way like a mile away. So now anytime I get any kind of message from a woman and the first thought of, and we're just getting to know each other, we haven't even met face to face or I haven't even been on that first date yet. And her first thought is, well, can you send me 50 for, I'll be like, no, I can't. Because it makes no sense. Why am I sending somebody I don't even know $50 or $100? Like, one woman literally asked me, before we can go on our first date, I need you to send me $100 so I can get my hair, nails, and lashes done. And I'm sitting here like, no, I'm not doing that, because we're just getting to know each other. If I sat there and asked you to send me money to get gas, to pay for the food, or to pay towards the food that we're going to eat together, and also to pay to get my hair cut, or to pay for me to get some new sneakers for the date, you look at me crazy. So that's the same way I was looking. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And I don't know. Unfortunately, there are some men that, and they could have been like me. I was super shy in high school. I was nerdy. I pretty much didn't really date much. I think when I finally actually got the confidence up to date, it was like my senior year, because I ended up getting contacts. I got a little bit more confident in myself. But I say all that to say, some men have been so shy all their lives that just the first sign of getting any attention from a woman that is way out of their league, they just get swooped up in it and they become simps, as you say. But one thing that men have to realize is that a woman that really likes you and that really cares for you, you could go on a date walking them through the mall and not spend a dime, and she'll be happy to do it just because she wants to, because she likes you, she respects you, and she wants to spend time with you. Now, a woman that don't care for you and don't like you, you'll notice that she'll want you to send her money all the time, but you'll never see her. Oh, send me $20 so I can get my some gas, or send me $50 so I can get my nails done, or send me this so I can do that. And you don't realize that you are one of, I don't even know, 50 to 100 men that she's saying the same thing to. And you got to think, if she got 10 men giving her $50 every week, that's probably how she paying her rent, or that's probably how she paying her car note. I remember one young woman that I won't say that we were friends. I think she was a friend of a friend. But this young woman had one guy paying her rent, one guy paying her car note, one guy paying her light bill, and then one guy that would take her out to eat on the weekends. And pretty much she just kept her money to herself. She didn't have to spend a dime. But the thing is, women will do that and live that kind of lifestyle, but then get upset when people call them out on it and call them what it is. But they're like, oh no, you can't call me that kind of a name. No, you are literally being provided money to perform a service. What else do you want me to call it? So I say all that to say, my main point, even in telling my story of dating an Instagram model, is the fact that we have to really take a step back and really get back to dating and getting to know a person, and not letting money be the main focus. Now, I'm not saying that money isn't important. Money is a tool. But the thing is, if both of y'all go broke, you gonna both break up because neither one of y'all have money? No, it's about finding someone that you can build a friendship with, because a friendship in a marriage is so important. Because when that person is really your best friend, you can share any and everything with that person and not feel judged. You can share your deepest, darkest secrets with them, and you don't have to worry about them blasting your information on the internet. That's real marriage. And I've seen it. I've seen it in my parents. I've seen it in my uncle and auntie. I've seen it in other members of the church that I was a part of in Jacksonville. So I know it can work. But one thing that I really feel like that's missing in our world today, we're missing the mother of the church that would train up the younger women in how to be the type of woman that can get a ring. Because one thing that these women will not tell you, and I use this very popular person that's currently in this situation, the so-called Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. She is so popular and so out there, and people know about her, but do you see her with a ring on her finger? No. And she even talked about how she was engaged for 10 years. Who stays engaged for 10 years? Some people, marriages don't even last 10 years, but that's what I'm saying. Like, the delusion, the foolishness, the constant wanting to be the head of the household, now, that's not how it works. Because even if we go biblical, people don't realize that God wanted the man to be the head of the household, but you got to remember, God wanted the man to be the head of the household, but then the man was subject to God. So the man wasn't ruling, he was just following God's lead, and he was leading his family by the leading of God and the Word and the Holy Spirit, because a marriage is a mirror image of the way a marriage is supposed to be. If you are a believer, if you believe in Jesus Christ, if you believe in that he is your Lord and Savior, Jesus modeled a marriage in the Bible. And what he said was marriage is like him when he's married to the church. The church is his bride. So did you ever see Jesus disrespect the church? No. Jesus went as far as to die on the cross for his bride. Think about that. Jesus got whipped and beat and abused and talked about and cast out and every manner of disrespect. He took it all on the chin just to save his bride's life, so his bride wouldn't have to die. Can you imagine the type of love that is? That's what he was modeling that a man would be, that would do for his wife. But why would a man do all of that and almost kill himself for a wife that's not even worth being? He don't even want to acknowledge that she is a part of his life because she's not being a respectable woman. Think about it. I mean, we're seeing it on a daily basis. Women, and I'm not even putting it to one race because I see it in all races. I've seen women disrespect men of every color and every race. So I'm not singling out any race. The disrespect it's a norm, and it's all because, unfortunately, we have a lot of single parent homes where mama didn't know how to raise that baby, and mama didn't even know anything about raising a child because her mama didn't really know how to raise her. But that's what I'm saying. We need to get back to having older women teaching these younger women how to properly be a wife. I promise you, if we get back to those days, we wouldn't have any of these problems we have today. So thank you for taking the time to hear my thoughts. To my kings out there, don't get so desperate to be with someone that you allow yourself to be used. Anything worth having is worth waiting for. So if you got to be patient and just not date anybody for months, for a year, for 2 years, whatever, however long it takes, imagine focusing on yourself, focusing on God, focusing on getting your business and everything going. And lo and behold, you're so focused and so where you need to be that God will send that woman right your way, and everything will just flow naturally. She's not going to try to use you. She's not going to try to abuse you. She'll even help you level up even more. That's the kind of woman you want. And to my ladies, I pray that you would not allow... Okay, let me say it like this. To my ladies that are either married or are dating someone, don't get advice for your single friends. Some of them have the agenda of wanting to take your man. So they're going to tell you, oh, I wouldn't take that. Or I wouldn't allow him to tell me that. No, don't take that from, don't take advice from single women. If you are in a marriage or a dating, serious, exclusive relationship, I would advise you to, number one, pray about it. Seek God first for advice on your relationship. Number two, ask God to send you a married woman who has a successful marriage. I ain't talking about these women that are out here with open relationships. No, find a single woman, a married woman who has a successful marriage, who's been married for at least, I would say at least give it 10 years or more. But find somebody that's actually married and that can actually say, hey, I've been in the trenches where you are, either where you're going to be going or where you are. And this is how me and my husband got through those hard times. This is how I prayed my husband through this, or this is how I had to compromise and me and my husband had to come on agreement on this. That's one thing that people would not admit to. The only way a relationship is going to work between two people is somebody's got to compromise. If both of you want your way, it's never going to work. But there is a way for you to give a little bit and this person to give a little bit, and then you two can come together in an agreement. So that's my advice. That's pretty much all I wanted to say. And again, thank you for your time. I pray that your 2025 would be a year of, as my pastor said, unfinished business. As another pastor that I'm a part of ministry with has called it, we're moving different in 2025. And yeah, I have to agree, because one of the really majorly quoted things, and I want to say Albert Einstein said this, and if I'm wrong, you can correct me. But he said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and think you're going to get a different result. That's what we've been doing. So that's why I agree with my pastor saying we got to move different. If it's not working for you, what you did last year, do something different. Don't keep trying the same 1, 2, 3, 4 steps that you've been trying, and you're expecting a different result. Change your whole process. Thank you again. May God bless you and keep you. Amen.